Larry here with 7 Sage Law School Prep and another stick figure exam tip. This one is the idea that canned or prepared case briefs can help you. And yes, I actually said that. The guy who said this, writing in blood, briefing cases will kill you. Don't ever brief cases, dude. Don't ever do it. But this is a test of how good of a lawyer you are. Notice what I do say here. I said briefing cases will kill you, meaning the process of briefing cases will kill you and is a total waste of time in law school. But there's a distinction between wasting time briefing cases and using canned or pre-prepared case briefs to help you with your understanding of cases in law school. That is, canned case briefs are case briefs prepared by somebody else, commercial service, or even if you just take the case briefs of a friend who worked on them before, or we at 7 Sage are shortly going to offer some free case briefs online. Now, note that they are a shortcut. They're sort of a Cliff's Notes for cases, if they still have that. When I was in high school, they sold these kind of 20 or 30 page, maybe 50 page volumes, and you'd read them, and they'd be summaries of books that you'd never want to read. Wuthering Heights is my wife's favorite, but I've never read it, and I couldn't have been bothered to. And if you read it, you're supposed to be able to answer most of the questions that your teacher asks you in class. Why would you want to use them? They'll help you understand the case faster. I recommend doing the reading. In the abstract, of course, according to our system, you never really have to read cases. You can just read the back letter law. That kind of works in theory, but there are nuances that once you understand the black letter law, actually reading the cases is a great way to understand how to deal with issue spotting, but only if you already understand the law. Now, a case brief is just another means to an end. It's only worth it if you spend less time overall reading cases. This can be useful overall. Anything that'll help you save time so that you can focus on the things that matter, which include mastering the law, mastering issue spotting by specifically taking practice exams, and mastering your professor is worth the time. But this is especially important for those of you who read slowly. I've had students tell me that they don't waste their time briefing cases or doing other stupid things like moot court. Sorry, moot courters. It's lame. But their problem is that they read slowly so that the reading just takes up such a huge amount of time. One way to cut through that is to use a case brief to quickly understand the case, then skim the case itself, and then move on. And then to carefully pay attention in class about what the professor has to say about the case. Not what poor student is on call has to say about it, but the actual professor who has extremely long legs and arms here. Now, typically, if you ask the professor, and please, God, don't. If you ask a professor, should I use commercial case briefs? They say, no, don't read case briefs or you'll never learn to read a case. My responses to that are, there are several. One I actually forgot here. You are going to be reading the cases if you do it my way. You'll read the case brief and you'll still read the case. You will learn to read the cases despite yourself. And this will be you with glasses. But there are a number of other answers to this stupid idea. First of all, so what? You may never practice law this way. There's a very good chance that you will not become a litigator and won't spend your time having to read cases every day. Next, so what? Real litigators read case briefs themselves. They don't want to waste the initial time of trying to understand a case on their own. If you look at Westlaw, there's a summary of the case at the beginning. Duh! That's there to speed up the litigator's understanding. Time is precious for a litigator. They don't want to overbill the client. They don't want to be in the office all day, even though they're going to be there anyway. So there's a summary at the beginning of any case on Westlaw or Lexis, and little guideposts all along the way that'll help you understand the case faster. You'll also read summaries of the case outside of the case, other than the case itself, in a quick treatise or summary, or a law review article. All of these things are meant to help you reach an understanding of the case faster. There's no reason to live in this weird, pure world where there are no supplements because you use them all the time. This is like saying you shouldn't use steroids in high school because, oh, that's not such a good analogy. Lastly, again, so what? This is not literature. And even literature You want to use a guidebook sometimes. I read Ulysses some time ago, and you got to read it with a guidebook because you got to make sense of, yes, I said yes. Ulysses is pleasure reading, but still you have to make sense of crap like this on your own. Cases are not pleasure reading. This is not literature. You're reading for understanding and not pleasure. So do anything to save your time. Use commercial case briefs if you read slowly or if you just want to quickly get through a case. Now, one warning. Only use case briefs if it'll cause you to spend less time overall reading cases. If you're just going to spend the same amount of time reading cases and then read case briefs on top of that, that's a waste of time. Don't do that. But if the case briefs help speed your overall reading time, which includes the time spent reading the case brief and the time actually reading the case out of the case book, it's totally worth it.